My beloved friend, listen closely. If you are hearing these words before November 2, it is not an accident. You were meant to be here. You see, there comes a time in every life when God stops the noise of the world to speak directly to your heart. And that time is not next week, not next month, it is *** now. *** right now, as you listen, something inside you is being awakened. Heaven is reaching into your ordinary moment to place a divine seed inside your spirit. You may not fully understand it yet, but you can feel it, that quiet stirring, that sense that something is about to change. It is as though God is whispering your name through the stillness, saying, I am not done with you. I have plans for you that go beyond what you can see. Sometimes God must quiet the chaos around you just to get your attention. We live in a world filled with noise, constant distractions, endless demands, and the weight of expectation. But when God wants to move, He often begins with silence. He brings you into a place where the usual voices fade, where your heart becomes still enough to hear His. And when that silence comes, it's not emptiness, it's invitation. An invitation to listen, an invitation to trust, an invitation to step into the season that He has been preparing for you all along. The truth is, God never speaks without purpose. If He is stirring your spirit right now, it's because something significant is about to unfold. The days ahead are not random, they are divine appointments waiting to manifest. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven is already arranging it. The right people are being positioned. The right doors are being unlocked. The right opportunities are being whispered into existence. Every unseen detail is aligning with perfect precision. But there is something you must understand. When God chooses you, He doesn't call you into comfort. He calls you into purpose. His calling rarely fits into what feels easy. Purpose will stretch you. It will challenge your faith. It will push you out of your comfort zone and into a place where you have no choice but to depend on Him. That's how you grow. That's how you rise. That's how the power within you begins to unfold. You might look at your life and wonder, why now, why me? But God's timing is never late and never early. It is perfect. Every tear, every battle, every disappointment, they have all led you here. They have shaped your heart and refined your character. You have been through the fire, and though you may have felt the heat, you were never consumed. Because what was meant to destroy you has only made you stronger, wiser, and ready. So don't shrink back now. Don't question the process. The same God who began this work in you will complete it. You are not being abandoned, you are being advanced. You are not forgotten, you are being favored. The stirring you feel is the call of destiny. And when destiny calls, hesitation is the only thing that can silence it. This moment, this season before November 2, is a divine window. A window of transformation, of decision, of awakening. What you choose to believe right now will shape the course of your next chapter. Will you stay where you are, or will you rise to where God is calling you? Will you cling to fear, or will you step into faith? The world may not understand your journey. Some will doubt, some will question, and some will walk away. But that's all right. When God speaks to your heart, He doesn't require the world's approval. He only asks for your obedience. If you listen, if you trust, if you move, the miraculous will follow. So, listen closely once more. The world is loud, but heaven is clear. This is your time. God is calling you to rise above doubt, above fear, above the noise. The moment you say yes in your heart, everything begins to shift. This is not just another day. This is a divine encounter. The silence is over. The season has begun. The days ahead are not just ordinary days. They are sacred days of preparation. Every sunrise between now and November 2 carries a divine assignment for your life. Things are shifting in the unseen realm. While you may not feel it yet, the ground beneath your spirit is trembling with purpose. Heaven is working quietly behind the curtain of your circumstances, setting things in order, aligning people, places, and moments that will soon converge into what you've been praying for. You're walking into a divine arrangement. Nothing is random anymore. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment, they've been shaping the path for what's about to unfold. You must understand that preparation is not punishment. When it feels like God is silent, He's not ignoring you, He's organizing you. He's developing the strength, the patience, and the faith you'll need to carry what He's about to release. Many times we want the blessing before we're ready to handle its weight. But God, in His mercy, waits. He waits until your heart is mature enough, your character strong enough, and your faith deep enough to sustain what He wants to give. He's not just blessing your life, He's building your foundation. So do not despise this season of preparation. This is where the real work happens. This is where the roots of your destiny grow deep. When God prepares someone for purpose, He does it quietly. He allows you to be hidden for a time, not because you've been forgotten, but because greatness is being formed in the dark. The seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted. It first breaks apart beneath the soil. Something must die in you before something greater can live through you. And that process, though painful, is sacred. In these days leading to November 2, pay attention to the whispers of your spirit. You'll begin to notice little signs. Things that once seemed ordinary will start to carry meaning. You'll feel drawn to new ideas, new people, new possibilities. That's not coincidence, it's confirmation. God is preparing you for encounters that will realign your direction. A conversation, a message, a sudden opportunity, all of it will serve a divine purpose. The doors that once refused to open will begin to unlock, not because of your strength, but because of divine timing. Heaven has a rhythm, and you're about to step into its flow. Things that have been stuck will begin to move. Prayers that felt unanswered will begin to echo back with signs of hope. Even your mindset will shift. Where there was confusion, clarity will come. Where there was fear, boldness will rise, and where there was waiting, fulfillment will begin. God is setting you in motion, and this preparation is His way of positioning you for acceleration. But let me tell you, acceleration without preparation can destroy what it was meant to bless. That's why God takes His time. He's not only preparing your situation, He's preparing your spirit. He wants your heart to be ready to steward the increase. You've prayed for open doors, but God also wants to strengthen your shoulders to carry the responsibility that comes with those doors. This is not just about answered prayers, it's about equipped purpose, so take these days seriously. Guard your heart, protect your focus, speak life, not fear. Choose faith over frustration. When you feel weary, remind yourself that this is not waiting, it's training. Every moment of obedience is sharpening your spiritual vision. Every act of faith is unlocking something eternal. And soon, when November 2 arrives, or maybe even before, you'll see why this season mattered so much. You'll look back and realize that God wasn't distant. He was detailed. He wasn't delaying you. He was developing you. And every prayer, every trial, every quiet night was part of His careful preparation for what's next. So walk forward with confidence. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're being prepared for divine manifestation. Heaven is aligning with your destiny, and the countdown to breakthrough has already begun. But here's the truth. When God chooses someone, He doesn't choose them for comfort. He chooses them for purpose. He doesn't call the easy, the polished or the perfect. He calls the willing, the broken, the ones who have wrestled through pain yet still hold on to hope. When He places His hand on your life, He doesn't promise smooth roads or calm waters. He promises transformation. Purpose always demands something from you. It stretches your faith, challenges your comfort, and awakens the strength you never knew you had. You see, God's calling is not about making life easier. It's about making life meaningful. The moment you are chosen, you are enrolled in divine training. The challenges you face aren't punishments, they are preparations. The storms that once made you question everything were actually designed to teach you endurance, to refine your spirit, and to reveal your dependence on Him. God doesn't waste pain, He repurposes it. What once wounded you will become the very thing that fuels your purpose. If you feel like you've been walking through fire, understand this. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to purify you. Gold must be refined before it shines. Likewise, the purpose inside you must go through pressure before it's revealed. Every disappointment, every closed door, every delay, it all served to strengthen your foundation. Because what God is building through you cannot be fragile. It must be strong enough to carry the weight of destiny. Many people want the glory of being chosen, but not the growth that comes with it. Yet, those who truly carry purpose understand that divine calling is both a privilege and a responsibility. When you are chosen, you are called to stand tall even when no one else stands with you. You are called to walk in faith even when logic tells you to quit. You are called to forgive when it hurts, to keep believing when nothing makes sense, and to love even when it's not returned. That's what purpose does. It molds your heart into something heaven can trust. Sometimes being chosen means being misunderstood. The path of purpose is rarely crowded. People may not see what God sees in you. They may doubt you, mock you, or walk away from you. But that's all right. You don't need validation when you have vision. When God anoints you, He also appoints the season where everything will make sense. You're not meant to be understood by everyone, because your calling is not from everyone. It's from Him. And when God sets you apart, He begins to remove what doesn't belong to your next level. Some relationships will fade. Some opportunities will close. Some habits will lose their pull. It might hurt, but it's holy. God prunes what He plans to grow. Every loss in this season is making room for greater gain. Every tear is watering the soil of new beginnings. So, don't run from the discomfort. Don't pray away the stretching. Embrace it. Growth never happens in comfort. The same God who called you into purpose will equip you for it. The same God who led you into the fire will bring you out refined and radiant. You are not being broken. You are being built. When you start walking in divine purpose, you realize that even your smallest obedience carries eternal weight. The words you speak, the kindness you show, the faith you keep, all of it echoes in heaven. Purpose is not about doing something grand. It's about doing the small things with divine intention. So, if you're feeling the pressure, take heart. Pressure is proof that something valuable is forming inside you. Diamonds are created under pressure. Purpose is born through perseverance. You are not just chosen to exist. You are chosen to transform the world around you, one step, one act of faith, one prayer at a time. God never calls you to remain where you are. He calls you to rise, to walk boldly into your destiny, to live with courage, conviction, and compassion. You were not called to survive, you were called to shine. This is the moment where you stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Use me," because the God who chose you has already placed within you everything you need to fulfill His purpose. You are not ordinary. You are chosen for divine impact. So lift your spirit, steady your heart, and move forward. Your purpose is waiting, so if you've been tired, broken, or ready to give up, I want you to hear this clearly. This is not the end. This is the turning point. Every moment of struggle, every tear you thought went unnoticed, every prayer you whispered in exhaustion, none of it has been in vain. You are standing at the edge of something new, something divine, something greater than anything you've walked through before. Life may have felt heavy, your path uncertain, but the very fact that you're still here means that God isn't finished with you. In fact, He's just getting started. When the weight of the world presses against your shoulders, when you wake up and wonder if it's even worth trying again, that's when God is closest. He does His deepest work in the darkest moments. He shapes diamonds in pressure, grows roots in silence, and births miracles out of pain. You may think you've been buried, but truly you've only been planted, and what's been planted must rise. That's why you feel that stirring, that quiet inner voice that says, "Don't quit now." It's the voice of destiny whispering, your story isn't over yet. Every great turning point begins in a moment that looks like defeat. The caterpillar feels trapped before it ever becomes the butterfly. The seed breaks before it ever grows. The night grows darkest right before dawn. And right now, even if it feels like you're surrounded by endings, heaven is preparing a beginning. You're in the hallway between what was and what will be, and though it's uncomfortable, it's sacred ground. It's where faith is forged. When God says this is not the end, He's not only talking about survival, He's talking about transformation. You won't just get through this, you'll come out changed, stronger, wiser, deeper, more aware of who you are and who He is. Sometimes He allows you to reach the end of your own strength so you can discover His. Because when you've got nothing left, that's when His grace becomes everything. You see, giving up might seem easier, but it's not your destiny. You were built for resilience. There is something in your spirit that refuses to stay down. That strength, that quiet endurance, is proof of the divine hand that made you. Even when your mind says, "I can't do this," your soul whispers, "Keep going." That's because the Spirit of God within you knows that your current struggle is the birthplace of your future victory. So, rise again, take a deep breath and lift your eyes. The ashes of your past are not your prison. They are the soil from which beauty will grow. Every disappointment has deposited wisdom in your soul. Every loss has carved space for new blessings to enter. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt for purpose. What looks like the end of the road is actually a divine redirection. When you choose to keep going even when it hurts, heaven takes notice. Your perseverance is worship. Your refusal to quit is an act of faith that moves mountains in the unseen. Angels are assigned to those who refuse to surrender in the storm. You may feel like you're walking alone, but you're surrounded by grace. You are not abandoned, you are being carried. So let today mark a shift in your spirit. Let it be the moment you decide that tired does not mean finished. Broken does not mean defeated. This pain will not define you, it will refine you. Every scar will tell a story of survival. Every wound will one day become a well of wisdom. One day you'll look back and realize this breaking point was actually your birthing point. This is not the end. This is where the page turns, the part of your story where heaven steps in and everything begins to make sense. You are walking out of the valley and into purpose. Hold on, because what's coming next will make you forget why you ever wanted to give up. The night is passing, the morning is near. Your turning point is here. God has placed something inside you that the enemy cannot destroy. It doesn't matter how many times life has knocked you down, how many people have doubted you, or how many failures you've faced, what God has planted within you is untouchable. It's eternal, it's sacred. Deep within your spirit, there is a divine spark that refuses to go out. Even when your hope feels thin, even when your faith feels small, that spark still burns. It may flicker, but it never dies. Because what comes from God carries His power, and that power cannot be erased by the trials of this world. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet fire that won't let you quit. Even when you try to walk away, something keeps pulling you back toward purpose. Even when you say, "I'm done," something deep inside says, "Not yet." That's not your strength. That's the Spirit of God within you reminding you of who you are. You were never meant to live defeated. You were never meant to live ordinary. You were meant to carry light, power, and presence into every space you enter. That's why the storms have been so fierce, because the enemy recognizes what's inside you, even when you don't. He's been trying to silence your gift, bury your voice, and drain your confidence. But here's the truth: he can't destroy what heaven has designed. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The power that raised Christ from the dead lives in you, and no darkness can overcome that. So stop believing the lie that you're too weak, too late, or too broken. Those thoughts are distractions, not definitions. Your identity is not built on what you've been through. It's built on who created you. For too long, you may have let fear dictate your decisions. You've looked at your potential and doubted it. You've compared yourself to others and called yourself less. But let me tell you, you carry something unique that no one else can replicate. God didn't create you as a copy. He created you as an original with a voice, a calling, and a fire that only you can carry. And no matter how buried it's been under pain, disappointment, or fear, that fire is still there. It's waiting for your faith to breathe on it again. The time has come to stir it up, to awaken what's been sleeping. The dreams you thought were over, they're not dead, they're dormant. The vision you thought was lost, it's still alive, waiting for you to believe again. The passion that once fueled you, it's about to reignite, because before November 2, something within you will begin to shift. You'll feel strength rising where weakness once lived. You'll sense boldness where fear used to reign. You'll begin to move differently, think differently, and see differently. That's not coincidence, that's revival from the inside out. God doesn't waste what He places in His children. If He's given you a gift, it's because the world needs it. If He's put a dream in your heart, it's because someone's breakthrough is connected to your obedience. You are a carrier of purpose, a vessel of divine potential. And though life may have tried to bury that truth beneath layers of hurt or doubt, it cannot stay hidden forever. Fire always finds a way to rise, so lift your head and remember who you are. You are not defined by what you've lost. You are defined by what still burns within you. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. He saw what you would become. He tried to stop you before you realized your power. But now the awakening has begun. You're beginning to remember. You're beginning to see. You're beginning to feel that fire again, the one that says, "I was born for more than this." Before November 2, that flame inside you will no longer flicker, it will blaze. The same fire that once fueled your faith will return with greater strength. It will push you to act, to speak, to believe again. You won't just survive this season, you'll step into it with authority. Because what God placed within you, no force on earth can destroy. That power, His power, is still alive in you. And now, it's time to let it burn again. You may not feel qualified. You may not feel ready. But remember this truth: God never calls the qualified. He qualifies the cold. Every person He's ever chosen in history started out feeling unworthy, unprepared, and uncertain. Moses stuttered, yet God made him a leader. David was overlooked, yet God made him a king. Esther was afraid, yet God used her to save a nation. What mattered wasn't their strength, it was their surrender. God isn't looking for perfection, He's looking for willingness. He's looking for hearts that say, "Here I am, Lord, use me even if I don't feel enough." You see, when you say yes to God's calling, you're not saying, "I have it all together." You're saying, "I trust you to make me enough." Because the truth is, no one is ever truly ready for what God has planned. His assignments always stretch beyond your abilities. That's how you learn to depend on Him. If you could do it all on your own, you wouldn't need faith. But faith is built when you step into places that make you uncomfortable, when you take steps that don't make sense, when you move forward even when fear is whispering, "You can't." It's in those moments of trembling obedience that heaven begins to move. The moment you take one step of faith, God meets you there. He doesn't wait for you to become perfect before He uses you. He uses you in the middle of your imperfection so that His glory shines brighter through your weakness. Every flaw becomes a canvas for His grace. Every doubt becomes an opportunity for His power to prove itself real. The enemy wants to convince you that you're not ready, that you don't have enough experience, that your past disqualifies you. But that's a lie. God doesn't look at your past, He looks at your potential. What you see as failure, He sees as foundation. Every broken piece of your story can become part of His masterpiece. The moments that embarrassed you, the mistakes that haunt you, the chapters you wish you could erase, God can turn them into testimonies that bring hope to others. That's what redemption looks like. You might say, "But I'm still struggling." That's all right. God works with struggle. You might say, "I still have fears." That's all right. God works through fear. You might even say, "I don't have the resources." That's all right, too. God is your provider. When He calls you, He brings everything you need at the right time. Your job isn't to have it all figured out. Your job is to take the first step and trust that He'll handle the rest. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never move. If you wait until you have every detail, you'll miss the moment. Destiny doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It waits for courageous obedience. And right now, heaven is waiting on your yes. That simple, quiet yes that says, "Even if I'm scared, I'll go. Even if I don't understand, I'll trust. Even if I've failed before, I'll try again." Because the truth is, God can do more with your yes than you could ever do with a lifetime of preparation. You don't have to prove yourself to Him. He already knows what's inside you. He placed potential in your soul before you were born. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from promise. The gifts, the dreams, the compassion, the fire, they're already within you. You just need to step into alignment with what heaven has been waiting to release. So, stop letting insecurity silence your calling. Stop letting comparison rob your confidence. You don't need to be like anyone else. You just need to be who God made you to be. The same hands that shaped the stars shaped you with intention. And if He placed you in this moment, it's because He knows you're ready, even if you don't feel like it. So go forward, even trembling. Step out, even uncertain. Speak, even if your voice shakes, because when you move in faith, God moves with you. And when He moves, mountains shift, doors open, and miracles unfold. You may not feel qualified, but you are chosen. And that's more than enough, so lift your eyes, lift your faith, lift your expectations. Because everything you have walked through, the pain, the loss, the confusion, it has all been preparation for this season of divine acceleration. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your future. Every disappointment was a seed that pushed your roots deeper into faith. Every closed door wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You may have thought you were being delayed, but God was positioning you. And now the winds of change are blowing. Heaven is whispering, asterisk, it's time. Asterisk, the season you've been praying for is closer than you think. Lift your eyes. You've been looking down for too long, weighed by the weight of the past, blinded by what didn't work out, distracted by who left. But if you lift your eyes, you'll see something new is rising on the horizon. You'll see that the same God who brought you through every dark valley is standing before you with open arms, ready to lead you into a new chapter. You're not stuck, you're being stretched, and though stretching hurts, it's the sign of growth. Lift your faith, because faith is what turns impossible moments into divine miracles. Faith is what carries you when logic says there's no way forward. You may not see how it's going to work, but faith doesn't need proof, it needs trust. Trust that if God promised it, He'll perform it. Trust that if He began a good work in you, He will finish it. The world says seeing is believing, but heaven says believing is seeing. When you start believing again, when you start expecting again, things begin to shift around you. The atmosphere of faith attracts the movement of God. Lift your expectations. Too many times we lower our expectations because of disappointment. We stop asking big, dreaming big, believing big, because somewhere along the line we were told not to hope too much. But God is not limited by your past. He is not intimidated by your mistakes. He's not bound by what others said could never happen. He is the God of the impossible, and right now He's asking you to raise your level of expectation. Stop expecting failure, stop expecting loss, start expecting miracles, start expecting restoration, start expecting overflow. This season you're stepping into is not one of barely surviving, it's one of thriving. You've paid the price in patience, you've endured the process, and now God is ready to accelerate what has been delayed. Acceleration means what used to take years will happen in months. What used to feel out of reach will suddenly fall into place. The doors that were closed will swing wide. The connections you need will find you. The answers you've been waiting for will arrive suddenly, not by your strength, not by your striving, but by divine speed. But here's the key: you must align your mindset with what God is doing. You can't step into a new season with the same old perspective. You can't carry doubt into destiny. You must let go of the mindset that says, maybe someday, and start saying, my time is now, because heaven responds to faith-filled declaration. When you speak what you believe, you create the atmosphere for miracles. Speak life over your situation. Declare victory before you see it, because faith speaks the language of heaven. Everything you've walked through has led to this moment. The pain refined you, the waiting taught you patience, the silence strengthened your trust, and now all of it is coming together in divine timing. You are stepping into acceleration, into answered prayer, into manifestation. It won't happen by accident, it will happen by alignment. When your faith, your heart, and your vision come into agreement with God's will, nothing can stop what's coming. So lift your eyes again. You are not defeated. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. The God who began your story is not finished writing it. And the next chapter, it will move faster than you can imagine. Divine acceleration is here, and it's carrying you straight into destiny.